Welcome back. I'm James Johnson, and this is my mama.
LaDonna. Hi, folks.
And we are going to talk in this particular episode about something my mom wants to talk about. I didn't do a spoiler in the last, I should have, but we have read the first 5 books of Song of Ice and Fire, and we watched the first 4 seasons of the television show and the trailer for the 5th. And we're going possibly in spoiler area, so if you don't want that, don't listen. And we're also more talking about theory and rather than historical stuff, so if you're not interested in that. But if you are, thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to have you here, and my mom is excited to get down dirty with this topic. So mom, hit it.
All right, first of all, I want to reference a couple of things. We have talked to you about Jamie's Dream, which is on YouTube. If you just type in Jamie's Dream, there's one video that comes up that's magnificently done, and it talks about him having a quote dream, which is not a dream, where somebody comes to him that obviously is his mother, Joanna Lannister. And because she insists that...
This is from the book. It's an audio book. It's not somebody talking about it. It's of the book. Okay, I did. All right, you go.
You going to throw me off topic? Okay. At any rate, it's his mother coming to him, and he says, this is a dream. And she says, is it? Look at your hands. And he only has one hand in it. The other one's chopped off. In his dreams, he always says 2, which indicates it's not a dream. She's coming to him somehow. We posited that she might be coming to him through obsidian candles, because he sees candles burning in her eyes. Now, I'm not going to go into that. I've talked about it before, but watch that and then come back to this if you haven't seen it. So if that's true, Joanna Lannister is alive. And what we've said before is that when Tyrion was born, Tywin was just distraught, didn't think it was his kid, and threw her out with, this is our theory, saying, if you ever come back here again, I'm going to kill the children. Don't ever come back. So she left. We think she's a silent sister. You can watch. There's one person that goes around, looks just like her. Hold that thought. Doesn't matter if you agree with me or not. Just think about it. This is now what I'm going to reference is in A Feast for Crows. In the paperback, it is on 177 if you want to go to it. And it starts where it says the White Book would be waiting. And I'm going to read a little bit to you. It's only about a page and a half. This is when he is standing vigil at Tywin's funeral, which is about Jaime Lannister is... Thank you. Is standing vigil. He's been there for a long time at Tywin's Bier, B-I-E-R, the funeral. And somebody comes in. I want you to listen to this. The White Book would be waiting when this vigil was done. His page open in dumb reproach. I'll hack the bloody book to pieces before I'll fill it full of lies. Yet if he would not lie, what could he write but truth? A woman stood before him. Now, I'm going to stop here and reference something else we've said. We have said that Gendry is not only Robert Baratheon's child, and that he is not a bastard, that he is the original son that Robert and Cersei had, and that Cersei got rid of him. You all have said that didn't happen. You know, he was never born. That's fine. Y'all can believe what you want.
Hey, a lot of people think we're right.
But a lot of people think we're right. In the show, she says she had a child who died. In the books, it's kind of indicated she might have gotten rid of a child or aborted it.
It's, you know, she says that it was born, but I lost it. She said, I lost it.
Well, yes, she lost it, all right. And I have said that, you know, in this show, Gendry has been asked, who was your mother? And, you know, when Ned went to him, he said, all I remember is she had golden hair, and he sang to me. Well, there's another particular scene as well where somebody asks Gendry about it when he is on the road with Arya and Yoren, and Arya says, well, you know, who are your parents? He says, I don't know. My mother was probably some tavern wench, and my father could be any one of the number of gold cloaks. Okay. He says she probably was a tavern wench. Now, back to this particular page, 177 paperback, Feast for Crows. A woman stood before him, Jaime, standing at the bier of dead Tywin. It's raining again, he thought, when he saw how wet she was. The water was trickling down her cloak to puddle around her feet. How did she get here? I never heard her enter. She was dressed like a tavern wench in a heavy, rough-spun cloak, badly dyed in mottled browns and fraying at the hem. A hood concealed her face, but he could see the candles dancing in the green pools of her eyes. And when she moved, he knew her. Cersei. He spoke slowly, like a man waking from a dream, still wondering where he was. What hour is it? The hour of the wolf. His sister lowered her hood and made a face. The drowned wolf, perhaps. She smiled for him so sweetly. Do you remember the first time I came to you like this? It was some dismal inn off Weasel Alley, and I put on servant's garbs to get past father's guards. I remember, Jamie said. It was Eel Alley. She wants something of me. Why are you here at this hour? What would you have of me? His last word echoed up and down the sept. Me, 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 fading to a whisper. For a moment, he dared to hope that all she wanted was the comfort of his arms. Now, that almost directly mirrors when his mother comes to him in the sept.
When Jamie's mother comes to him.
And he says, what would you have of me? And it echoes, me, 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 me. Our opinion is that Joanna wants him to know who he is, who his real father is.
Yeah.
And she even intimates it is not Eris. Again, I'm not going to go into that. Please go watch it. But for all of you who say there was absolutely no precedent in the books that Gendry could be Cersei's child, there it is. You can believe it or not. It matters not to us, but you got to think about it.
And I just want to clarify, Jamie's dream is a clip of the audiobook where somebody reads the chapter where Jamie has the dream at the werewood throne and sees what it's alluded to as his mother, and she kind of disappears. It's a dream, but he has it near a werewood stump. And it happens after this scene, and this scene, I assume it happens after this scene. Yeah, of course it happens after the scene. And in this scene, some of the exact same language is said. And there's candles burning in the eyes, which could be obsidian. Joanna could be alive, or it could just be a memory, the vague memory of Jamie's mother, and represented the reality. But that's almost irrelevant to this particular video. Instead, Jamie is having an actual experience, but the point is he calls her, he says she's a tavern wench. She's hooded. He can't tell who she is. She looks like a servant. She even admits having slipped past father's guards, having been
in tavern wench
clothes, and met Jamie somewhere. Now, I think that if Cersei got rid of the kid, I think she certainly said kill it. And I don't know that. And Jamie would have been the one she could have trusted to do it. Of all people, she couldn't do it, in my opinion. But she could trust Jamie. If anybody, she could trust Jamie to do it. But I don't think Jamie could bring himself to do that. He killed Eris to save the realm, to save King's Landing. I don't think he would have killed a baby. And then eventually he'd fess up if indeed the blonde-haired person that Gendry remembers is indeed Cersei. If that's true, Cersei had to have visited, which means Cersei knew the truth, which means Jamie told her. But why would she leave? Now it's too old. She can't bring herself to kill him. Why would she then abandon him? Because Joffrey was fucking born. And now she no longer cares. She's got her golden child, literally and figuratively. It's Jamie's son, too. And she doesn't have Robert's fucking genes. Fuck Robert. He said Lyanna's name, and...
Well, also, if I could add this, she realized at that point she wasn't going to be able to have any control over Robert. Nobody could control Robert. Even Ned, they said, Ned, you can't control Robert. He's going to do even Cersei said he's going to do what he's going to do. She got rid of him. I don't think Jamie was the one who did it, although he certainly could. I don't think Jamie knew. I really don't. But she got rid of him, but didn't kill him initially. I think that she did visit him briefly. But when Joffrey was born, and we all know it, she put all her eggs in the Joffrey basket, for good or for bad, and it was bad. And the reason we're so untomen or decent is because the Septus raised them. They weren't around. Cersei didn't have much control, much influence over them. But anyway, for you naysayers, and that's fine, you can be a naysayer, I'm not insulting you, but you asked for the precedent. There it is. Okay, so believe it or not. But presuming that it is indeed their legitimate child, he's a big ticket player in the end.
Arguably has the right to the Iron Throne, but so does arguably Jon. So does arguably a whole lot of people everybody. Do. Anybody who takes it. I mean, however you want to treat it.
And the last thing before we leave it, in the books, he's left at basically being the blacksmith, which is right kind of near Harrenhal, which is right by Quiet Isle. He clearly has been set up to reforge ice together again from the two swords it was broken into. Clearly that is a big part of him. How does he know how to do it? Because the two blacksmiths who know how to reforge Valyrian steel, one of them was at the wall. That's Donald Noet or something like that.
One in Volantis.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, and then there was one that Tywin brought in to reforge it in the show. But there was another one, and that was the one that Tobo Mott, Gendry actually apprenticed under.
He knew how to reforge.
You can't make it, but you can reforge.
He knew how to reforge.
And we have a video on what we think is different about Valyrian steel, and you can certainly watch that. We did that a year or two ago. But
yeah, can I add something?
Sure.
If we're right, another thing that's set up is that Gendry has had so many tastes of royalty in every single of the upper class, the oligarch, and every time it's detrimental to him. Melisandre and Stannis, when the King's Guard comes after him for and what, he doesn't know the fucking king. He doesn't know shit about that. His first interaction with royalty is that he knows is royalty is
in the book
John Arryn. John Arryn. Yeah. And John Arryn fucking dies soon after. Then Ned shows up. Ned dies soon after.
Then the people who come to him crap on him, you know. And of course, remember, you guys who have not read the book.
In the TV show, he straight up says, "Oh, you lords and your courts." He says it to Davos when he's in the prison. I've had enough of y'all.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And so if anyone were to ever tell him that he is this lineage, if anybody were to ever have told him that he is this lineage, I think it a beautiful thing for him to go, I don't fucking, thanks, I don't really care. Plus, he's this hard worker. He's the smith, truly, which means he's just a hard worker. And if he were to say, well, I could be a leader, but also say fuck the system, in the sense that he's not really willing to. Sorry, I cuss so much. It's
I'm counting them.
Part of who I am. She's got a hand that I count them. But I'll try to fucking stop.
Right there.
That was the point.
Can I talk about the Davos scene? I think that it was important they put that Davos scene in there where they were talking about, you know, Gendry saying, you know, or you must be royalty. And Davos says, no, I really am not. I was not born. And he says, yeah, you don't know anything about being a lowly person. He said, yeah, I was born in Gin Alley. Gin Alley. They didn't have to throw that in there. Books talk about two alleys in here, Eel Alley and Weasel Alley. Gendry is their trueborn son. I'm telling you, I believe that's correct. Again, I'm not enough of an egomaniac to think I'm right, but I think it's there. Y'all ask for precedent. It's right there. And those of you who have not read the books, you know, Martin loves to mirror certain characters so that we kind of get to bounce back and forth between the ideas of concepts of these characters. They're set up in many ways, but in the books, there is a bastard child of Robert Baratheon called Edric Storm that Stannis raised as a child, which is the one that Melisandre in the books is kind of doing experiments on him, that Davos gets away.
Blood magic stuff.
Yeah, so Davos kind of gets him away. In the books, Gendry is the other bastard son that you all know as Gendry. In the show, they have merged the two together, and so we've seen the intertwining of what they're two different stories. Narratively, it makes sense for Martin to put a true bastard son in there, Edric Storm. We know he's a bastard. We know how he came about. And Gendry, who is a bastard, that is a trueborn son. That's the mirror. That's the mirror.
There's also Maya Stone, I think, and I don't know if there are any other bastards of Roberts.
Maya's the only other one I remember. But
I believe it's just Maya, Edric, and Gendry.
So anyway, folks, think about that, because he's a big deal, and he's right there. And we believe Harrenhal is huge in terms of how the perhaps ultimate battle is, either penultimate or ultimate battle is. And again, the God's Eye is right next to it. Huge werewood population there. We think. Anything else on Gendry? And of course, he's been set up to end up with Arya.
Boom. And there's a
I
whole
can be your family.
disagreement about
I can
that.
be your family. No, you would be my
between
lady.
us.
You would be my lady. Well, and he figures out he's royalty. And now he has. I mean, Melisandre revealed that a few episodes later. Once he realized he is potential royalty, he can be her romantic interest, indeed, especially if he's not a bastard.
I think it'll be too late.
Of course, now.
I think I don't want to get into mine. It's way too complicated. Go watch the final battle.
Yeah. I don't agree with everything he said, but pretty close. Okay, that's all for this.
Thank y'all so much for watching.
Bye.
Love you, Mama.
Love you too. Mwah.